Hello guys, this is Steve Megatron Phillips. I'm jumping into the beginning part of this episode for a number of reasons. Before the episode comes on, I am going to be changing a few things on the podcast. We're going to be doing, of course, the general superheroes and some of the news and whatnot, but I was thinking about breaking the show up into smaller segments, more or less. And when I say segments, I mean breaking the show in half and kind of doing 2 a week. So that I can do maybe like a topical episode that goes like 30 to 45 minutes and then do maybe a news show that goes about 30 minutes. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think about this idea. I've been wanting to kind of do this for a while because I feel like sometimes when I have a bunch of the news topics I want to cover, I can't because either they get dated too quickly or I have the issue where it overruns the show instead of allowing like more conversational pieces to be in it. And then I feel like it kind of gets drug on a lot and not really expanded upon into a more cohesive podcast. So I'm kind of wondering if you guys would like to see like an Altered Geek News Network type podcast that's once a week. I'm unclear on what day I'm going to do it yet. And I might flip-flop the conversational part of Altered Geek into like maybe a Tuesday or something release and then having the news come out on like a Friday. But I'd love to hear what you guys think about this idea. I'm kind of indecisive at the moment. The change would not happen until the beginning of the year. The episode numbering would be pretty much the same. I mean, it wouldn't change in title. The show numbering would not change. It would still be sequential, but just kind of wondering what you guys think on the whole idea. And the other thing is for the meantime until the end of the year, I will be changing the show release date to Thursdays because we're no longer recording on Thursday nights and publishing on Friday. I've had a different work schedule now, so I actually work in kind of a weird schedule on Mondays and Wednesdays, so I'm already on the computer until 10 p.m. Eastern time, so it's easier for me to record on a Monday or a Wednesday night to publish the next day. So in that sense, it makes it easier on me, that I get a little bit more time to edit or figure out what I want to talk about. And then in the other sense, cause we used to record on like Tuesdays and Thursdays, but now that my schedule is totally different, and probably next year I'll probably be recording on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I'll probably have to record on those nights again, but, it'll still work out. There'll be probably 2 shows a week again at that point. I'm also going to be bringing back more of the video show. I've been kind of absent from that from the last 2.5 weeks due to high-pressure assignments for school and then learning my new job, which has been awesome. So yeah, that's kind of what I was jumping in this beginning part of the episode for. Also be sure to check out our sponsor of Loot Crate. Which this topic for Loot Crate this time is Revolution. From November 22nd to December 19th, we are on a quest for epic gear, housewares, and collectibles in the holiday season, so Loot Crate offers an epic range of pop culture items for less than $20 a month. Whether you're shopping for the geek in your life or are a geek, Loot Crate is the best surprise you know is coming. Every month there's a different theme and new exclusive items you can only get with Loot Crate. Treat yourself every month or give the gift of geeking out to a friend or a loved one. So it says they're always watching. They've designed a system to keep you down. They're meddlesome. Hello friends, it's time for a revolution. Fight the power and pave the way for a brighter tomorrow with December's Rebellious Crate, featuring exclusive items from Assassin's Creed, Mr. Robot, Firefly, and more, including an exclusive Funko Pop figure, our monthly t-shirt, and pin. As usual, you have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe and receive this month's crate. And when the cutoff happens, that's it. It's over. Game over, guys. Make sure to head over to lootcrate.com/GCRN and enter promo code TBV to save 10% off on any new subscription today. So with that, on to the show.
You're tuned in to Steve Megatron on Altered Geek Unlimited.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek episode 167. I'm your host Steve Megatron Phillips, and joining me this week is
Dave, Joe, and Mike.
Hello.
Hello. Today is going to be a topical episode, folks. And no, you don't need any cream with that topical.
I was about to make that same joke, and then you beat me to it.
No cream for you.
That's what she said.
Oh, please do not make me bring out last week's outtakes, because I still have those.
You're a dick.
No one is going to know what the hell we're talking about, folks. But anyway.
They better not.
I ought to send that to you just for posterity's sake. Oh, boy. That was funny.
So
we are here to talk about high-tech, low-tech, and traveling. Now, I got this idea because next week, even though you guys will hear our full-on review of the Heroes vs. Aliens 4-night DC TV crossover, it's going to be a special review episode of Altered Geek next week. But this week, since I'm leaving on vacation to California for the first time to see my future wife, Jennifer, and all that, I figured, why not talk about technology and traveling? Because I've done a lot of traveling over my 36, almost 37 years of life, and I've used various amounts of technology at the time and whatever else. And this time around, I'm going low tech because I have no iPhone, I have no iPad, I have a CD player, and I have my mom's old Sony cassette player Walkman. Your brother would be proud.
he still owns one.
I still own one.
He has a portable 8-track player.
Oh, God. That's taking it a little too far, Brian.
I'm not joking.
I know you're not joking.
He also has like 8 computers. They're all like dilapidated. But yeah, I mean, yeah.
So
Walkman.
For me, with the traveling thing, we used to go on vacations and various things as a kid and everything else, and sometimes we would go to amusement parks that were 2 or 3 hours away from where we lived and things like that. And back then, up in Massachusetts, up in the South Shore of Massachusetts, amusement parks aren't like, there was no Six Flags over Cape Cod. There was none of that back then. I mean, there was some stuff, but nothing major like worldwide branding. But for me, traveling was, I've been to Disney World a total of 6 times in my 36, almost 37 years on this planet. Disney World, mind you, in Florida, not Disneyland out in California.
Are you talking about the real one? I'm serious. That's the only one I've ever been to.
Certain Californians would punch you out for that because that was the one that Walt built. The one out in California was. But the thing with the Florida one, I went when I was 2 years old. I don't remember any of this trip. I just know that I was there because I have a bunch of pictures of my mom, my dad, all my aunts and uncles, and myself. I've got a picture, little 2-year-old me with Mickey and Minnie and all that stuff and everything else. The first Disney trip I remember was when I was 6 years old in 1986, the year you were born. You young whippersnapper. And I liked Disney World, but as a 6-year-old, I did not want to walk everywhere. So much walking. There was no monorails back then.
Monorail.
Yep.
Monorail.
Monorail. And then we stopped by Disney World on the way to Key Biscayne, Florida in '89. We only stayed for like half a day, but the '86 trip we stayed at the Sheraton Hotel back when Sheraton Hotel was still a thing. I think.
You mean when they were nice?
Well, Sheratons nowadays I don't like. I think all the Hiltons kind of gobbled them up, or somebody bought them out, or I don't know, whatever. But that '86 trip, I remember walking everywhere and just constantly complaining about all the walking. And maybe because it was too hot in Florida, I don't remember what time of year we were there, but it's always hot in Florida. The coolest thing about that trip, and I think I still have Chip somewhere. My mom got me 2 little small figurines of Chip and Dale. Because as a kid, I loved Chip and Dale. Now, this is before Rescue Rangers. I loved them in the sense of the old classic Disney cartoons like Pluto's Christmas Tree, where they basically, terrorize the hell out of Pluto when Mickey chops down their tree for their Christmas tree. Um, and like I said, we did it in '89 for a brief tour, and then in '95 I went down there for a trip because my mom had moved down there in '94. I was living here in Kentucky at the time, so I went down there in '95 for a trip. At that time, I was 15. We went to Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. So, 1995, it's still, they're still, kind of milking the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids thing. Well, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience was one of those motion rides, and it wasn't even a real ride. You go into this makeshift theater, and it's basically a movie theater, but it's a platformed movie theater, so it has actions that it can do, and it's basically an interactive show. And at one point, the mouse runs across, so they make something happen where it feels like it's running, the mouse is running across your foot. At the end of it, the funniest bit about this whole thing with the Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, at the end of it, the dog sneezes and they spray water on all of us, like actual mimicking of dog snot. I thought that was hilarious. And I've got pictures of the '95 trip. I'll have to upload them sometime at somewhere. I might even have them sometime. I might have them somewhere online here. I don't know. One thing I remember about that trip is the Batman and Robin merchandise was in high gear. Like, I know Batman Forever had just come out, but I remember having a Batman and Robin t-shirt. At least at that, it might have been another time, but I've been to Disney like I said, about 6 different times in my lifetime. Oh no, that's what it was. It was '97. I went in February of '97 before I came back up here to Kentucky, and I just absolutely loved it. Other travelings that I've done, obviously moving here to Kentucky was a big culture shock from Massachusetts, because when I first got here in 1993, folks. Going from Massachusetts which even in the cities, most of it is woodland area. Like you drive down Route 3A or I-95 or whatever up there, and it's all tree-lined highways and byways and whatever else. Here in Kentucky, it's all flatlands and fields and tobacco. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So that was a culture shock. From '99 to 2003. I lived in Mississippi, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, and then I went back to Mississippi again, and then I came back here to Kentucky. So Pennsylvania was like a day and a half trip. It wasn't even really that I lived there. That was a long, drawn-out, drama-filled story that I am not sharing here. And thank God Dot isn't here to egg me on. Mississippi, I had moved down there twice for an online relationship. The first time I moved down there. I thought it was going to work out. It didn't. And that's when I went back up to Massachusetts. I was actually in Massachusetts September 11th, 2001. And I remember this to this day. I was on the phone with a girl I was interested in. And for some odd reason, I turned to I'd never watched the Today Show, even back then. I just never have liked the Today Show. But for some odd reason, I had it on, or I had Regis and Kathy Lee on, or Regis and Kelly, or whoever it was in 2001. I thought at the time that the two towers came down, or that the event was happening, I thought they were talking, at the time in 2001, I thought they were talking about a new movie. Because that's what it looked like to me at first. And then I looked at it closer, and I was talking to the girl on the phone. I'm like, Corey, I got to let you go. Because something major is happening. Turn on your news. And that's how we found out that the Twin Towers fell.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's see. So I lived in Massachusetts from March of 2001 to April of 2002. April of 2002, I went to Pennsylvania. Story I'm not telling, and then I ended up back in Mississippi. Mississippi was not that big of a culture shock for me because at that point I had been living in Kentucky for almost 10 years. And Mississippi is a coastal state because we were in like the Biloxi Gulfport area, so we were like the second time I went down there with my ex at the time, well, my now ex. we she had a 2-bedroom townhouse rented that was pretty much you walk across Highway 90 and you're on the beach. So that was awesome. I thought that was really cool. And then I came back here to Kentucky in 2003 and been here ever since. I've done some traveling since then. Uh, Not very happy traveling, but in 2007 I went back up north to Massachusetts because my grandmother passed, and actually 2006 I came down. I went up there to get my mom to get her out of the bad relationship she was in at the time, and brought her back here to live and get a job and whatever else. And like I said, 2007 my grandmother passed away, so I went up there for the funeral, and my mom couldn't go because she had to work, so they allowed me to go and just represent us as a family and whatever. And then in 2012, I went up there and grabbed her again because brought her back down here because she just her health wasn't in 2012. My mom's health wasn't as bad as it would get, but she would call me and tell me, "Oh yeah, the other day I felt," because she lived in the second floor of a house, and if anyone knows New England homes, very steep stairs, like Rock of Gibraltar steep stairs, like Mount Everest type of steep stairs, like walking straight up. So and she would call me and tell me that, oh, I tripped and fell down the stair, and I'm like, look, I'm coming up there, I'm coming to get you, because living in that house with your friend is not living on the second floor is not helping you at all. So I brought her back down here, and I haven't traveled since because from 2012 until she passed last year, I was obviously taking care of her and whatever else. And now I've got this whole new adventure of going out there to see Jen and all that. And yeah, life is happening. So those are my travel adventures. The thing with the technology bit of it, before I let you tell your travel adventures, is I used to have an iPhone, and I'd go everywhere with the iPhone, and because I use iTunes for music, that was one of the reasons why I even wanted the iPhone in general, was because it was compatible and didn't have to worry about the old school days of having to enter in every single track name and artist and everything else. So, um, but this trip, I basically have a CD player, my headphones, and a Sony Walkman. And it's really not that bad because I have a bunch of old cassette tapes that I have not listened to since 2001. I have stuff that I recorded off the radio. I've got my mom's old cassettes, like I've got them here. She's got Bob Seger's greatest hits. She was a huge Garth Brooks fan, so she has most of all of his cassettes. Probably the main two I'll be listening to is The Chase and In Pieces, those two albums from Garth Brooks. But I'm just, making CDs for myself at this point to just play in the CD player. Um, so yeah, that's my traveling adventures, and it's going to be interesting traveling with low tech and not having to, because I've got a cell phone, but it's a dumb phone. It's not a smartphone. It just does calls and texts. That's all it does. So, what about you, sir? Where have you traveled and the like?
Well, I've traveled to, pretty much all over the place. I've gone to Florida, I've gone to Tennessee, I've gone to Wisconsin, I've gone to Canada, places around Michigan. Um, but yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff I've taken has been somewhat high tech and somewhat low tech, depending on my age. When I was younger, it was like a Sony Walkman cassette player, and then eventually I had a Walkman CD player.
What's the difference between the Walkman CD player and I mean, I know what a Walkman is. It's a cassette player.
Yeah,
But the CD Walkman, is that just a fancy term for CD player?
it's like a portable CD player, one that fits in your pocket.
Yeah.
Um, and I had this particular one. It was not a Sony, but it was I don't even remember the name of the brand, but anyways, I had it, and it was a thick enough device because I'd had some that were just like the same size as the CD, perfectly round and everything, and those broke on me. The other one I managed to put through a beating, and it survived almost everything. and I used to take it to school, and I used to have this jean jacket that I used to put the device in to mask it when I went into school. And it worked out flawlessly, actually. Um, and so we had that, and then had the headphones, and then so yeah, the thing actually worked out pretty nicely in that sense. But I had that. I had the cassette player one. I had eventually an MP3 player, which was like a 1 gig one when I had it, and then I got a 4 gig one, which I actually still have. And I've used those for a lot of travel or just random stuff. But really, I don't even carry those anymore because not only can I access stuff from my phone, which I don't, but my car I can plug in a flash drive,
Right.
and I have everything loaded on it. Of course, I'm gonna have to use a new flash drive because the one I used, I forgot about it in my pants pocket, washed it, and it doesn't work.
No! Damn!
So,
what a waste.
I mean, it was a 1 gig flash drive. I was surprised it survived. Actually, what's funny enough is the 2 gig flash or the 4 gig flash drive that I had in the same pocket survived with data intact. My good one that I have is a 16 gig. Or no, it's a 64 gig, and it's I bought it at the school with financial aid money one year, and because I really needed a flash drive that was FAT32 format. And my other devices are all NTFS, which is Windows only, and I had to convert something from a Mac. And I couldn't access it, so I had to get this new flash drive. But suffice it to say, it's waterproof.
That's good.
It's got a rubber casing around it, so if I wash it, I'm good.
That's good.
But yeah, so I mean, I mostly use that kind of stuff, and like when I was a kid, we used to go camping. And camping as a kid with my family was not camping in the traditional sense.
Okay.
It was almost like we took 2 cars and we packed everything we had to make it like we had a camper, but we slept outside. So we still had a TV, we still had a refrigerator, we still had so I mean, we had all our luxuries still. I mean, it was not camping. But when I went camping with Mary, like a couple times, we actually we had enough to. I don't even think we had we had a plug for our phones, and that was about it. Like we actually camped out, and the thing didn't have anything else. So.
Yeah, for me with traveling, now we've talked about where we've been and where we've gone. How about talking about how we got there? Now, obviously, we've done cars and things like that and everything else, but the trek for me from Massachusetts in 2002 to Pennsylvania to Mississippi and then back to Kentucky, that was from Massachusetts to Pennsylvania to Mississippi. That was all in the span of 96 hours. I was on a Greyhound.
That's way too long.
I know, right?
Way too long.
I know, right? I've flown all over the place. Not all over the place, but all over the U.S. I've flown here to Kentucky in 1990 to visit my dad at the time, my dad and then stepmother. I've flown to Florida. I'll be flying to California. I debated taking a bus because I figured it would be a bigger adventure. The only thing I have yet to travel on outside of car, plane, or bus is a train. I really want to take a train across country. That's one thing I really want to do. The cool thing is my future stepmother-in-law actually works for Amtrak.
Nice.
So my thinking is at some point, Jen and I can just take a train ride across country and just have a fun adventure. Who knows if it's this year, next year, or whatever. So outside of the car, what other modes of transportation have you used?
We have gone by train. In the past, we went to Chicago by train. And we've gone to Wisconsin by train.
That's cool.
But the Chicago trip was interesting because it was during the 2008 election.
Oh boy.
Didn't really plan it that way. It just kind of happened that way. But we ended up having to take, we took a train from Flint, Michigan to Chicago, Illinois, and then we had to figure out the underground train system.
The L train, yep.
Yes, and that was a disaster the first time. We had no idea where we were going. We're lost with all this luggage and crap. So we're just like, yeah, we're in the middle of an area that just doesn't really look like it should have people in it. And we eventually figured out the L train system by the end of the week. But we had to take buses anytime. Like we could get only so far to certain things, and then we'd have to take a bus. Or in some instances, we walked a long while. Which I was not thrilled about, but Mary liked, so I just kind of had to do it. And then there was a couple times we actually have flown to Jamaica for a vacation, and that was interesting because we had to change flights partially through that and then take a smaller plane to Jamaica and then take a bus to get to the resort and then the same process getting back, which kind of, again, I'm not a fan of the multi-jump system of transportation. I like the get on one thing and get where I want to go and not have to deal with it. But we have taken a plane as well to Florida to go on vacation. And that was when Ian was like 9 months old.
Oh wow!
And we went, and it was fun. And then we had a rental car, but yeah, I mean, for the most part, it's been, I can pretty much drive wherever. It's just those are the only instances where I've had other people transporting me, or in the sense like my dad's driven us to Florida before, or my father-in-law's driven us to Wisconsin before. Like that's really the only instances of somebody else driving me.
Right. Well, that's cool. Yeah. I require a chauffeur everywhere I go. When it comes, oh, that was the funniest thing.
It's called being classy.
That's right. I know. Just call me driving Mr. Daisy. So the funniest thing is that on the way here to Kentucky from Massachusetts the second time in 2012, I flew up to Massachusetts to get Mom, and we drove back down because I was moving her back down here, so she had to get all the stuff she had, all the stuff she wanted to take, and we drove down. We spent the night I think we spent 2 nights. One in somewhere in Pennsylvania and the other in Columbus. And that's one of the reasons why I was hoping Mr. Booth Ninja would have shown up tonight. I understand the man was feeling under the weather, and that's fine, and life happens. But Columbus, Ohio, the Holiday Inn that was there at the time that we did this trip, oh my God, best Holiday Inn I ever stayed at. They had hot chocolate chip cookies at like 4 p.m. As soon as we got there, I'm like, really? Seriously? This is hotel living? Awesome. So we, like I said, we drove down. It takes about, even staying overnight, if you drive straight through from Massachusetts to here to Kentucky, it takes about 20 hours straight through. And obviously, if you stay over, it takes longer. But it was just really, really fun. Getting out on the open road again. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I want eventually Jennifer and I to take a train somewhere. It doesn't matter where we're going, whether, I fly out there and stay a while and then we, take a train back here, or hell, we could take a train to Flint and visit our water-loving friends. Sorry. I just can't not make that joke. Y'all need better water out there.
Y'all?
Yeah, y'all. As in all y'all. Oh boy.
See, that's how we say it here.
Yeah, all y'all.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's for more than 5 people. But yeah, no, I want to know from the listeners because, like I said, next week is our big DC 4-part event review. But for this week, I want to know, number one, have you ever traveled for a relationship, whether you've gone to that person's place or whether they've come to you or that kind of thing? Because online dating, folks, isn't what it used to be. Online dating in 2016 is not what it was in 1999, 2000. It really isn't. We've got Skype, we've got video chat, we've got Google Hangouts, we've got all this other technology, and whatever else. But I want to know if anyone's moved or traveled for a relationship, or if you have just traveled in general, what mode of transportation did you use and where did you go?
Yes.
So those are the questions of the week. Anything else you want to bring up before we get the flock out of here?
Not really. I mean, I've been kind of overrun over the past week, you could say.
Well, you've had a new job start and all that, and it's
and between that and school,
yeah.
and it's just been a little crazy.
Yep.
And I've got like 50 YouTube videos I'm behind on.
Jeez.
By no means am I going to get caught up anytime soon.
You mean watching or producing?
Watching.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, wait a second here. When are you gonna make 50 YouTube videos?
No, I actually keep busy now, which
yeah.
is
No, I know.
nice. So yeah, I used to blow through some videos because I used to do paperwork,
mm-hmm.
and then I just have videos playing on the side.
Right.
And now I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
So, which is, like I said, good.
Absolutely.
Good for the brain.
Yep. You started your new job when? The 18th or the 25th?
21st.
21st. Okay, so you're a full week in to this new job, and I know it's still going to take you some time, but can you see yourself doing this for the next 5 years of your life?
I can see myself working there.
Okay.
I don't see myself doing that same position.
Okay.
I do eventually see doing something else while I'm there at some point.
Right.
But I feel that everything is going to be within my realm.
Mm.
So I don't think I think I'll be very well at home there.
Mm-hmm.
Which again is nice. So
Absolutely. All right, folks. You want to close it out, or we got to pimp some stuff.
that's what she said.
No she said jokes.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. You are not the player in a management position. Oh boy.
No, I don't want to be.
Yeah, no. So 25 Days Tooncast Beyond Christmas is coming on Tooncast Beyond and Tooncast Classic. It's the first annual 25 Days Tooncast Beyond Christmas, where we talk about 25 different Christmas cartoons. We've got stuff ranging from The Year Without Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Powerpuff Girls had a Christmas special, Dexter's Lab had a Christmas episode. We revisit Christmas with the Joker and Holiday Nights for BTAS, and we as in us, for the first time for you, we visit Justice League Comfort and Joy, which was the Christmas episode right before the Season 2 finale, 3-part finale of Starcrossed. I remember Michael Astenak's Caminiti Style on Twitter and we used to do a Secret Origins podcast, so we talked about Comfort and Joy years and years ago. And of course, we got all the classics. We got Charlie Brown Christmas, Grinch, and Frosty and Rudolph, and all that fun stuff. So that's coming up. I am going to be doing a comical Christmas on the Pull Bag, where we're going to have several episodes during the Christmas season for that as well. As I said, I'll be out in California with Jen, so we're actually going to be getting back to the regular numbered episodes. I've been using the back issue classics just so I can save one particular numbered episode for a particular comic for her and I. In episode 137, we're going to talk about Clerks, the comic. So,
I've never gotten the appeal of that show.
Clerks, the comic, or Clerks, the show?
No, just Clerks.
Oh. It was back when Kevin Smith was actually interesting, funny, and cool. Now he's just overrated, old, and just go away. So that's happening. We will get to M-Wire Movie Week in Review episode 130 because Doug and I are going to record the Mission Impossible episode where we talk about all 5 Mission movies. And I'm sure Jen and I will record some Tooncast Beyonds while I'm out there as well. So bunch of fun stuff coming up. What do you got going on?
I'm hoping I can get another AGU video show. I'm also hoping that I can get some more just video content in general. I've been doing a lot of stuff for school. I'm winding down this semester, which is going to be great. And then get to ramp up for the final one in January.
Right.
So I will still be recording these episodes through this entire month, even if it comes earlier than expected.
Yeah.
They still will be here. So, yep, there's that. And I guess until next time, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks.
Welcome to the Wicked Radio Network.
Want to interact with the show? You can contact us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. You can email us feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on geekcastradio.com or alteredgeek.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter @alteredgeek. Look for us every week on geekcastradio.com, of course, Stitcher Smart Radio, iTunes, Blog Talk Radio, and alteredgeek.com. And now, back to the show.